Welcome back. This episode is going to be about product testing and everything I did for my little small business and how I tested that product to get it up to scratch and ready for the market. For INkava, I wanted to make sure that I had the proper taste, dosage, strength, and the occasions that you would use the product in. There's many more things that you can test for, but for my business, these are the things that were important for me. So my brand INkava is a drink product, and it helps with aiding in a better and prolonged sleep throughout the night, can aid in relaxation, and can also be a social alternative to alcohol, which is traditionally how we drink it. So for me, the process of testing the product actually wasn't that difficult. Because it's a drink product, it's easy to get it into people's hands for them to give it a try. But I needed a good framework for this and to be able to make the test, similar throughout every single person that I'm trying to test it for. I was lucky. I was able to use a lot of family and my friends to test the product. And the way I did this was I created my own dosage chart. Luckily for me, my friends and family gave me plenty of time. So I was able to put a weekly long dosage chart, and I got them to report back to me and write on that chart the difference between their sleep, pre-kava and post-kava, and what those sort of differences were. It is a bit arbitrary, but I had to get some sort of level on how the product really worked. I also had to understand what the dosages were like and how a higher dose would affect versus a really low dose that wouldn't have any effect. This whole process took me about 4 to 6 weeks, and I had about 10 to 12 people doing this process for me. So I had a fair bit of data by the end of it. Once that was complete and I had all the sort of data back from everyone and everyone's opinions, I had a dosage for my product. And for me, it was that simple, and it can be that simple for you as well. It doesn't have to be that complicated of a process. Don't forget, you can chop and change things over time. It doesn't have to be the very first go, it has to be perfect. So the testing phase will be different for everyone, depending on what your product is and how easy it is to get it into people's hands, or what the price of it is. Food and drinks are typically quite easy. One thing I can recommend is utilizing AI and ChatGPT. I'm not the biggest fan of AI, but look, it's this day and age where it is a very handy resource in a situation like this. And you can use AI to help you figure out what you want to test for to begin with, and how you can sort of carry that testing out. I use it just like a little brain map and just a tool to aid in what I would sort of be thinking anyway, but it can really help you hone it down. I do have a science background, and in university, that is what I studied. So look, we did a lot of dosages and tested in terms of experiments. So I was lucky enough to be able to sort of come up with this framework myself. But I did put it into ChatGPT just to sort of clean it up and figure out exactly how it would best be read for the people that was testing it. But as mentioned before, what you can do is type your product straight into AI and just prompt it. What should I be testing for in terms of this product? And once you sort of figure out exactly what you want to be testing for, put that back into ChatGPT or Claude or whichever AI you want to use, and ask it what's the best sort of method or a spreadsheet or a worksheet for testing the product. You can also prompt it to ask what you should be testing for in the early phases of the product launch. This will really help you identify what it is that you should actually be testing for. And I'm sure it'll spit out so many ideas that you didn't even think of. You don't have to use all of them, but it is a really good brainstorming tool. So after you've figured out exactly it is what you want to test for, once again, you can prompt that back into AI and tell it to figure out some sort of dosing chart or testing sheet or a spreadsheet, or whichever way that you want to help people interact with your product and be able to accurately record all the information that you need to make sure that your launch is successful from day one for random people that, if you're lucky enough, are going to buy your product. Once again, I hope this helped. In my next video, I'll be talking about packaging and how we designed the packaging and who we sort of used in order to bring that idea to life. And if you haven't seen my previous videos, click one of them here.